What's going on, people, and welcome to Nerds at the Round Table, where we talk about Marvel, and more Marvel. I'm Snalez. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Nerds at the Round Table or Marvel, more Marvel. That's Knerds like Knights. For those who don't know yet. Loki episode 3, season 2, episode 3. It's me solo dolo again, once again. Hopefully we got some people on next time for episode 4. But recording this like an hour or two before episode 4 even airs. So I'm real late to the game. It's just when things happen, and you record when you can record. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go over some important details of what happened in episode 3 before we watch episode 4, especially because this started off with a very confusing intro where Ravonna, who is on the sacred timeline, is told by Miss Minutes to give this book to a young He Who Remains and or Victor Timely and or Kang the Conqueror, and her interference here has created a branched timeline, which is why Sylvia is upset later in the episode as to why the TVA is still meddling in things and helping Kang and or He Who Remains become who he is. To explain a little further, it starts off Ravonna's on the sacred timeline. Then Loki and Mobius are on a then branched timeline because Ravonna gave him that book. You understand? Because once Ravonna interfered in that timeline, she created a branch. The same way that once Loki took the Tesseract during the Avengers heist, he created a branch. Because he was not supposed to do that, and because she was not supposed to be there, and she was not supposed to do that. You understand? So that's why, or that's what's going on, just so everybody's aware. Ravonna's created a new branch with a He Who Remains and or Kang variant, which is a problem, because, as we know, he means business. Little fun thing we got to see in this episode was Odin, Thor, and Balder. Now, it was pretty funny that Loki was so upset because, you know, Balder has not been in the MCU, so nobody has any idea who the heck he is. And then, you know, they gave him his little title, Balder the Brave. And Balder is actually Thor and Loki's brother, for those who don't know. So, that's the connection there. And also, fun fact, Daniel Craig, yes, 007 himself, was gonna play Balder the Brave in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. They actually filmed it, and then they cut it out, and they replaced Balder with, I believe, Mr. Fantastic. So, crazy. I thought it was pretty interesting how Victor Timely, he is actually like pretty smart. You know, he's actually very smart, but he's still, like he said, he was limited by the technology of his time. So he's still like, you know, like trying to get by and trying to get money to do what he really wants to do, which is build what's in the TVA book, but he can't really do it. As we saw, he built a prototype of like a prune stick, and you know, it's that was something he could create in that time, but he can't create the time loom. Nope, he can't create that because it's just like he's limited, and I believe he's willing to go with them so that he can access more technology as well as help them out, because he seems genuine, you know? He doesn't seem like a bad dude. This version of He Who Remains, and I think that's the point. They're trying to show us that like this He Who Remains or this Kang is not all variants of He Who Remains and Kang are all gonna be malicious and have malicious intent. So it's just like kind of cool to see this side of him, and Jonathan Majors does play this character very well, in my opinion. Um, the stuttering is a little off, like it's a little forced. But like other than that, I mean, it's just like he embodies that character. It's pretty lit. Um, so we get some more Ravana in this episode, and Ravana and Mobius really are no longer friends. They have now just gone their separate ways. Ravana just kind of like went off the deep end and just went wild with it. So, and she's still going off the deep end. I mean, by the end of the episode, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it's just like, all right then, do you then, I guess, Ravana. Like, do what you gotta do in order to make yourself happy or whatever you're trying to do. Or I don't know. She mad. She big mad. And I mean, like, eons and eons of just running and doing the same role, I guess, would make you go a little crazy. You know what I mean? She put the TVA, it seems, before her mental health, and it is showing right now. Like, her hair was unkempt. She was holding that prune stick like I will do it. Like, she was wilding, bro. Interesting thing though that happened during the episode. You know, like, Victor doesn't do partners. Interesting. So, like, you know what I'm saying? When, like, in the past, when Mobius was when Loki was in the past, time slipping in the first episode, and hear that recording, and Kang was like, Ravana, you're such a marvel, and all that good stuff. It makes sense that Victor doesn't do partners. You know what I'm saying? That's why he kicked her to the wayside, because in the past, Kang kicked her to the wayside. You know what I mean? Wow. I'm just gonna jump to the end. Obviously, Miss Minutes and Ravana, like, the thing that Miss Minutes is gonna tell Ravana is gonna be that, like, in the past, she was a partner of Kang, and then at some point he was like, nah, I can't do this partner thing, and then was like, let me take her out of the picture. I love her, but let me take her out of the picture so that I can just rule by myself. So he took her out of the picture, and then wiped her memory, made her a judge, kept her in the TVA so he could keep an eye on her, and then ran the TVA himself, took credit for everything. And I think I think it's just obvious that that's what it is, because it just seems like history repeats itself, to be honest. Now, I mentioned that Victor has technology that seems to be on the level of the current TVA, and in regards to that prototype prune stick, or that very large prune stick. But also, did y'all notice that the thing he wanted to go get from his lab was actually a miniaturized version of the time chair that he was trying to get in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? That is the culmination of his life's work. In both of these variants said the same thing, I believe. I believe Kang said it was the culmination of his life's work in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Victor Timely was like, this is the culmination of my life's work, but he doesn't have the means to make it. But he's going to a place where he might have the means to make it, so he was like, let me go get that, because I'm not having the means to make this thing at the TVA. Hopefully they don't allow him to make that thing, but also he may slip away because he's slick like that, because we saw that he could wiggle out of situations real quick from a lot of individuals and get away with or without people's help. So this man may be slippery slidey out of there, get his time chair, and dip out, and then it's all downhill from there. Wild. But if Victor is truly good, we don't have to worry about nothing. But also, here's the thing. Once they have that power, what happens? Is the light switch flipped on? You know what I'm saying? once you obtain the power and to do what he can do with the time chair, which is go in any place at any point in time through any multiverse, you have the power to do whatever you pretty much want, and that may go to your head a little bit. I'm just saying. So we could be seeing the literal origin of Kang play out in a completely different way, but like because He Who Remains said that all his variants that he was involved with were from the 31st century. You know what I mean? So all of them were from the future, but this Kang variant is from the past. So it's like, and if it's Miss Minutes following He Who Remains' plan to help him get back to the TVA, or to help him down that path again, is this a resurrected? Because he said he believed in resurrection, and he believes in like this cyclical time loop, and he believes in resurrection. It could be the fact that this Victor Timely is really He Who Remains reincarnated, and he doesn't yet have the memories he needs in order to understand the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. This could all just be like nonsensical, but like anything is possible. You know what I mean? Interesting situations happened in this here episode, and by interesting I mean very strange and weird. Because Miss Minutes seemed a little jealous of Ravonna and Kang's relationship. Like she knew a little something about the past Kang and Ravonna relationship. Like she knew a little something about the past Kang and Ravonna relationship. Right? Which is what she's gonna tell her, obviously. But yeah, I don't know if y'all were uncomfortable, but like, bro, once she changed to orange, I was like, no. I was like, how is he gonna get out? I was like, bro, he better do something. He better do something quick. Like, she's wilding. So we got a little description of how Miss Minutes came to be. Kang made Miss Minutes as an AI to play chess with. Then he decided, why not allow Miss Minutes to do whatever she wants? So then he was like, I'm going to give you autonomy, and here, you can write your own programming. And she was like, cool, I'm going to write, I love you. That's why it's weird. Like that is interesting. Let's roll it back to Sylvie. So Sylvie realizes after she finally gets back to Victor Timely in the lab that I believe she realizes that she's being very hypocritical as far as like her actions and as far as like what she's doing as with this Kang variant. Because she has been hunted by the TVA since childhood, through time and space. And it's not fair that she would take him out because of something he may or may not do. So it's hard to, I understand why it's hard for her to justify that action. You know what I mean? Which is very, very, it's a growth I've been waiting to see, and I hope she's less annoying now at this point. Because I've just been like, can she stop? Crazy little pieces of dialogue were just dropped throughout this episode. One that caught my attention was that the TVA has been going on for eons, and Miss Minutes was made before the TVA and before the Multiversal War. Eons was the word. That is so long. Like, these people have been doing this on a loop for eons? Or they've been maintaining this timeline for eons? It's just wild. Either way, it's wild. So, that's all I got today. But let me know what you think about episode 3. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was awesome. You can tell it's about to ramp up in this next episode. They just went to the TVA. This is what we've been waiting for, people. This is what we've been waiting on. We've been waiting on what happens when He Who Remains and or Victor Timely and or Kang and or Immortus and or Ramatut and or Scarlet Centurion gets to the TVA. And we're going to find out on the next episode. Hey. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Follow us right here on Instagram. QR code. Follow us right here on TikTok. QR code. You have been listening to Snalez, host of Nerds of the Round Table. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with episode 4, hopefully with some guests. And peace out.